Hello Flosstube, it's Sian here, Periwinkle Stitcher. Today is Saturday the 9th of May and this is Flosstube 25, the Peter Rabbit edit. So it's so lovely to be back and I wanted to say hello to you all on this fabulous Saturday morning here. I've delayed starting and recording this video because I've just got so much stuff to share with you. So I hope you've got your notepad and pen and a big cup of coffee or something to keep you awake. And we'll get started. So since I saw you last, I was so, well, I couldn't believe it really that Sarah Stitchy Spot, who's got an amazing Flosstube, and I followed her from the very beginning, invited me as one of her sort of guests on her Zoom call that she has. I think she does them every month. And you can apply for tickets to go to that and join in. And so there was a lovely group. I'd say there were about 10 of us. And two very famous Flosstubers were on that. Jackie from Comfort Stitching, who I followed from the very start as well and has done some gorgeous samplers that I followed over the years. And also Catherine, who is stitching in costume, who's got a fabulous Flosstube. And I've been watching her recently and she had a gorgeous finish on a Hands Across the Sea sampler. So it was so nice to spend the evening with them, and of course Sarah, who's just the kindest, sweetest lady. So that was a lot of fun. I met all her guests and we had a lovely time. And then I've also just got back from the Lake District, Lake Windermere, or Bonus in Windermere, with Nikki Franklin at the most wonderful retreat. It was a small group, maybe 20 of us. And so it was really just wonderful to make friends and spend time in such a fabulous location up on the lakes. The weather, it was as if we were in Italy. It was just warm and sunny and the water on the lake was glinting and the location was fabulous. We were in a place called Fallbarrow Hall, right on Lake Windermere, and it just, I don't know, we were just blessed with our time there. So I'll catch up on that when I come to my embroidery part later on. But for now, I've got a little bit of stitching, not too much. So I'm hoping this won't be a mega long edition, but who knows? You know how that goes. So let me get started. I'll share with you my book a day. So I have, since I last saw you, been stitching every day. It's really bright in here. So I hope the sun's going to be okay. I've stitched and quilted. I've done a lot of quilting since I saw you last because I got my bedroom back. You know, Topsy went back to uni. And in fact, today I spoke to her first thing this morning. I was putting my last quilt block for the Laurie Holt quilt together at the crack of dawn this morning because I thought I've got to get it finished to share with you today. And that was for April, so I haven't even started May's blocks yet. But I spoke to Topsy and she's putting her dissertation in, so her finals are becoming really real now. And in a couple of weeks she sits her last big exams and then that's it. So she'll be fully finished now in a couple of weeks. So yeah, I've worked in my craft room because I've got it back so I can do my quilting. And I've started to keep my book of days for May here. And you can see I've already finished another week's lily pad, which I'll share with you right now. And I've stuck in my Kohanas and my Jenny Adding Christie for some 103 silks. So my my May pages are filling up. So that's my lovely book of days, which I really enjoy keeping. Right, where to start? We'll crack on. Oh, first of all, I always forget to do this. I do have a finish. And my fully finished, you won't be surprised, was this because I was very close to a finish, wasn't I? I just had to finish some of the grits for the White Swan. So this is With Thy Needle and Thread, Spring Swan by Brenda Gervais. I used all the called for. So it was 40 count, vintage country mocha, and here is my finish. So it's very pretty, very spring. It's got gorgeous colours. I can't remember the name of all the threads now because I put them away, but there was a lot. I've done all the fussy daffodils last time, so I was only left with some fill-in, I think, on the swan. And now I've done 3 out of the 4 in the series. So it would be great if I could get the Christmas one done, which I love them all so much. As soon as that summer one came out, the patriotic one, and I switched it to the UK flag, I stitched it as soon as Brenda released it because I just loved it. And this time I was channeling now who was I watching? Susan Cross Stitches, and the cross is a big X. Susan Cross Stitches has a lovely Flosstube that I've been subscribing to and following, and she has a load of finishes back from Faye Rigsby, and I think Tara Sully Stitches uses Faye for her finishing. I know that Susan uses Joy as well, I think. But she had some finishes from Faye Rigsby. So I was channeling my Faye Rigsby finishing. I mean, I don't know, her finishes are exquisite, but I did a sort of layman's version of it where I tried to put a pocket in the back. I just thought for such an Easter stitch like this, to make it a bit more meaningful, I used some of my Emily Lex studio cards. You know, she does the books to do the watercolor paintings, and I just wanted to put a little sort of card in the back here that's precious to me. And the daffodil, you know, is very much our sort of Easter flower here. And I just put a little charm, a little basket of flowers on the back. So I had to try and get my head round sewing the pocket, but that's the first time I've ever done it. And I think it'll be the first of many finishes. And this is lovely Brenda Riddle fabric. I can't remember the line. Is it called Sophie? Possibly, or Dover. And this is some Laurie Holt fabric that I thought just matched perfectly the stitching, sort of pinks and blues. So there we are. That is Spring Swan, all done. Another one now I can put up. And I've got my little Dartford China Swan up there, which I normally have out when I have my swan finishes. So they're really cute, and I can't wait to have them all done. So that was my fully finished this month. I got it in by the skin of my teeth because I finished that yesterday. And now I'll show you my whips. So my first whip I always share with you because every month I try to get a little bit on Lottie. This is Charlotte Warrington in my gorgeous bag that was designed for this project, made by Barry at Stitch Folk, who I've spent a lot of time with up in the lakes. It was so lovely to have stitchy days with Barry. She was staying with Britta in Odium, and we had an amazing time. And this is my sampler maker gorgeous fob from Nancy at 5 Times Blessed. And it was about a year ago that Nancy and her sister Millie came over, and we had a fabulous day out at the Whitchurch Silk Mill, which I need to remind me to mention that to you at the end. So this project I got from the Homespun Needlework group on Facebook that do lots of exclusive kits, and this time it was Sherry at Colorado Cross Stitcher that had the kits to supply. So I got mine on the 2nd edition, I think. This is Charlotte Warrington 1838, and by Needlework Press. Vicky has signed my book, and I am using the fabulous Weeks threads. We had the little scissor fob as well, or floss drop. And these are the Weeks, and look how many I've still got left. I've still got a long way to go on this project, even though I am doing as much as I possibly can every month. And here she is. It's too big for the board, so I'm going to hope the sun isn't going to shine straight through it. So the top is the same. I haven't touched it. This is on 40 count week straw. And thank you all so much for your lovely comments on Lottie, because I know Lisa L. Snap said that she loves to see the monthly progress on Lottie. So here she is, and I hope the light isn't going to be too sort of shiny in parts. And so that side was done. I started there on the peacocks down at the bottom. That was the very first place I started. And now I've moved right over. And this month, now I should have checked the progress photo because I can't quite remember. I think I finished all the little animals. I've done the farmer, and I have done all the fruits on the tree of knowledge. So I am now, and I've done the apple for Eve. And so all I've got to do now is fill in the green lily pad and fill in the green grass. So I've got a massive load of filling, and I'm thinking of maybe, oh, look at it, isn't it beautiful? I mean, she's huge, and I've got, look at all the bare linen in the middle, all of that has to be filled. So I reckon I've got, honestly, months and months. I should try and plan out some homework, but I'm loving it so much. I'm not in a rush to finish it. And to be honest, I've got so many assignments and homeworks now that I would struggle, and I think it would take the joy out of Lottie. So I'm going to leave her just doing what I can. This month, I think I had 3 or 4 days on her, and then I had to put her away and get on with my other things. So I haven't got too many to share this month. So let's see how we go here. And because I've got so much stuff, I did take a photo of the madness, so I'll put it in at the end to show you. So I'm sorry if I'm always going in and out of screen, so I know it winds people up. Right, my next one, now this is a huge project in terms of homework. So this is Hands Across the Sea in this beautiful bag made by Val at Patchwork Paw Print. She often does the Hands Across the Sea panels. So this is the beautiful Maria Wales Newson 1838 Hands Across the Sea, and this is a stitch along with Judy Hall, who's a brilliant leader of the group, because she checks whether you've done your homework properly and tells you if you've missed stitches. And there was a draw for the first 3 months, so this is the one. Yeah, so there was a draw and a prize winner for somebody that had done all their homework for the first 3 months, I think. So this, I'm using the beautiful 103 silks, which I really enjoy working with on 40 count. I know some people are not so keen on using these, but if you're using silks, these are my favourite type to use. So this, these are in my little. Now I've got, here we go. So I get these little boxes from the Quilted Bear, and they fit most projects because you can get 27 spools in, sorry. And she threw in this little needle minder for me because I did get some new cutting mats for my quilting as well. So thank you to the Quilted Bear for that. So without further ado, let me show you. So last month, I haven't had a chance to, I haven't even taken the pegs off this, look. This is how busy I've been this month. So this is on Tabby Cat, 40 count lichen, which is the called for linen. And so the first 3 months were across the top. Then April was that, which I did finish and submit my picture for. And May is just going to be the house. So I've made a really good start. I've spent 4 days on that, not the tree, just the house here. So the grass alone took me nearly 2 days, and then I went mad one day and did a lot of the windows. So I've still got quite a lot left. I think the roof is in red as well. Let me have a look. Yeah, okay, so I've done some of the counting, but there's still a huge amount of stitching in the red silk there. I think it's 633. Beautiful colour. Well, let me show you. That's the colour, isn't it? It's like a sort of pinky red. So pretty. And the door will be in like a limey green, the same as those birds there. A yellow. So yes, she's coming on, but what a commitment. I mean, honestly, I'm doing more on this than I am on Lottie, let's put it that way. But I think this is one of the hardest, toughest months. And in theory, if I can do this, although I've got so much in the calendar planned for May, I'm hardly home. And I don't know when I'm going to get all this done, because I don't think that's a good project to travel with. Right, the next one, I got a few sessions, maybe 2 on this. This is in my gorgeous Barry Stitch Folk bag. You have the loveliest stitching. So beautifully made, lined with blackbird. And I've got I think this is a Louisa Coulimore fob, and I don't think I made this. Maybe I bought this somewhere online, because I keep this for red samplers. And this is the one that was on display at the attic when I went to Sampler Symposium, and the actual sampler was there. So this is by Cozy Egg, Michelle. and it's called 15 Friends. And Sandy Whispered Stitches was stitching on this in a pinky brown, and that's what inspired me to buy these silks in my cute little Hands Across the Sea pouch that we had in one of the red boxes. And so when I was at the attic, the girls helped me kit up what I chose, which was this. Well, look, I'm nearly coming to the end of this spool here. This beautiful, like, it's like a sort of pink. It's a rusty pink. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, I love the colour so much. I think it looks amazing on this fabric. So this is number 305. And the one that Sandy has, which was even a browner pink than that, they was completely out of stock. So I had to sort of be brave and pick my own, which I did. And this, so that's 15 Friends, Jane Anne 1871 by Cozy Egg Designs. And I just love this so much. Now I'm doing mine on, is it 46? I fancy it, yeah, it is. Needle and Flax, 46 count Thornfield, which is a stunning colour. You know, it's just perfect for a red sampler because it has got mottling, but it's pale. The background is, oh, it's just perfect. I think this pinky brown looks stunning on it. I just love this project so much, but I've never got into the discipline of having 1 or 2 threads a day. I don't know, because I'm quilting and doing the embroidery maybe first thing in the morning. I've never been able to do it. But when I see people and the things that they can get done doing 1 red thread a day, it kind of makes me really wish I did have a focused project and could do that. So look how beautiful it is. The 103s on 46 count. It's just so lovely to stitch. So it's not scary at all because the 103s are so thin compared to the cotton over dyes. So it just works so well and it won't be too big to frame. So that's my progress. I'd love to keep it out, but I say that about all of them. And I got 2 needles in that, which is naughty. Right, then another homework that I try to do every month, although the homework for this isn't so bad. This is in a beautiful French General bag by, this is Sacre Bleu, handmade by Sew Jo B. And she is on Sojo B. I'm not sure how you get in contact with her because I know I've got her email. So this is my homework for GH 1857 by Soedi Day. This is Simone. Fabulous picture of Simone in the back. And for this one, I am using the Weeks Over dyed. And I did switch the call for linen out because it called for fibre on a wing wheat. These are the beautiful threads, look at that. So it called for fibre on a wing wheat. Mine was a little bit green, although I've seen so many people using it and it really is stunning. And this is mine. I'm using Swan Bay Fabrics 40 count dark Sanditon, which is just fabulous. And so this time, the end of April, I finished my homework and I did the roof on the house. I can't remember if the house was broken into 3 parts, but either way, most of it I seem to remember was the roof this time, which was fine. I think I made a mistake. I think my window's too short. It should have been a bit higher, but I wasn't going to pick it out because I'd done all the yellow. Is it chickpea or straw? So I'd done that. So I'm afraid my window is a bit mean, but I think it looks absolutely fine, honestly. And it's not one of those Judy Hall Hands Across the Sea homeworks where I think if you make a mistake, you're not gonna pass the test. So I'm just going with this. And I think it looks absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Blues and browns, quite different, isn't it? and lovely linen by Swan Bay Fabrics. And I know lots of you contact me about how to get hold of linen from Swan Bay. Just to say, they've just done a huge project for wholesale prep of their linen, and Marie is just totally inundated at the moment with orders, so please be patient, and I know they will get back to you and reply to emails and things. It's just, I spoke to Marie yesterday on email, and she's hugely busy, but obviously is massively grateful for all your orders, because she's down the road in Cardiff and we still haven't met up. It's crazy, we're still so busy, we never get the chance to get together. So I need to do my homework for May for that. So remind me now, mentally I need to make my plans of what I've got to do. So that's my 2 homeworks to do. And this will be the 3rd one. So this one is in my gorgeous bag. This was kindly gifted to me by Kathy Purdon, who lives in Tasmania, when we went to Sampler Symposium. Beautiful little envelope bag. And this is our homework. So I was kindly gifted this kit by the Across the Pond group. So Marie sent me this because it had the medium Sanditon in, and I already had the chart and I gave it away, I think last month or the month before. So I sent this off to, I can't remember where now, but somebody hopefully is enjoying it, my spare copy. And these are the gorgeous threads. And someone's kindly gifted me the bee, and I made a little scissor fob. Or maybe we were gifted the scissor fob, I think we might have been. And these are the beautiful Stacey Nash colours. So this is the Bees and Birds Sewing Roll, Biscornu and Scissor Fob by Stacey Nash. And I've seen this finished many places, and it is beautiful. So this is my progress. Let me use a board for this one because it might fit. So this time I did my initials and the 2 roses across the bottom, and I took this up to the Lake District. Of course I didn't touch it, but as soon as I got back, I put that little box in and brought the borders down the side. So pretty, look at the colours. So yeah, so that's, I'm up to date on this, and I don't think the homework is too crazy for this month. Is this month 6th then? I think it might be. I can't remember the homework breakdown, but it's going to be really, really pretty. And we've got to make this then into the sewing roll. So pretty, classic Stacey Nash colours. And this 1/1 beautiful little, what do you call them? Cotton reels. Yeah, really cute, the 1/1. It's like 100 stitches in one of those. Took ages, but I just think it looks so pretty. So that is another little thing I did this month. Then I had my Whitgo. Now, Cozy Eggs 15 Friends was my first Whitgo number, and this was the other one. This is in my beautiful bag made by Nikki Franklin's mum, Glynis, at the Stitchery, that sometimes she has them for sale in the shop, and a beautiful little needle, you know, thread bed, which looks like a crazy woman's. And so this project, it was so much fun to get this out because I haven't stitched on this for ages. So I'm using all the DMCs, and this is Carriage House Samplings, Christmas at Hawk Run Hollow. Now, last year I did the first block, and I just really need to at least get this up, but it's such solid stitching. I mean, it's full coverage, this. So it's a mad project, it really is, but it was so much fun. Now I'm stitching this on Needle Bling 40 count Desert Taipan because it had that sort of peachy look to it because I couldn't get the core for, which was Lakeside. And so this one I thought looked very much like the picture. And look at this. So this time I've done another massive house. I've got so many houses on the go. And I did a lot of the counting of the roofs and the little peacock. I started up there actually and then got down to the house. So really I've got to do all the snow and the fence at the bottom. We can see how big the block is, and the whole of the bottom is solid stitching. So it would be quite good to take on a holiday, except it is a big thing, isn't it? It's a big old thing to take. So I'm not sure. A lot of the things I really want to get to, you really need to be stitching at home and not traveling with. This is a good traveling one. So this is one I sat down a couple of nights for this. This is in my gorgeous bag by SJ Stitches, Sarah Dear, that I met up at the Heartstring Samplery retreat with Peakside, with Sue from Peakside last year. We had such a lovely time, and her Flosstube is so much fun. Do go and watch her. She kindly gifted me this beautiful bag and one of the scissor fobs. Oh, this one, Heartstring Samplery 2025. And this is another strawberry one. So yeah, this is my strawberry bag. And this is a beautiful project. So this is one of the new ones that came out to market that I started straight away. Amazing Grace. I'm stitching this with my lovely friend, Hobbies of Holly. Yeah, Hobbies of Holly. And it's so pretty. And we started this on Easter Sunday because of that little church and the sheep. These are the beautiful colours. I think it's a mixture, isn't it? Everything, yeah. Baked apples, the pink, but all different types of threads in that project. And wow, it's getting really hot in here. I'm absolutely melting. And so last time I'd done a couple of the words, and this time, can you believe where I had to end it? I think my lamp ran out and I had to go to bed. So I haven't quite finished the U, but I am that close to a finish on the words. Amazing Grace, how sweet thou art. So I know that Brenda did this one for her granddaughter, whose name is Grace. So I just thought that was such a lovely thing. So there we are, making good progress on this. I love stitching words, it's so easy. And that brown is the same wording that we did every opening flower. And it's oilcloth, isn't it? Weeks oilcloth. It's the wording on here. And I think it's the other one, I'll show you next actually. I'm stitching the roof on with needle and thread. So the linen for this is one of my West Green Loft Yarn May 2025 Fabric of the Month Club linens. It's 40 count. And the reason I chose it is because it's got a little hint of pink to it. And I didn't have the Fibre on a Whim linen that was called for, which was, oh, do you know, I haven't got it. I don't know. It was something like cappuccino or, but I just thought this had the right sort of tone of pink for this little stitch. So I'm really pleased with that. And it's the first time I think I've used West Green Loft Yarn linen, and I'm enjoying it. It's lovely. The next one that I pulled out, I did take this to the lakes, and again, I didn't touch it. This is one that we all started in market last year. I think it was for Tara's birthday, and everyone started this. So again, with my needle and thread, a daily reminder. I absolutely love this project. And even though a lot of the new market pieces are calling to me, and I had plans for Mania, I just want to finish this project. It's so pretty. This is in a lovely, fun project bag I picked up at a little day retreat from Turtle Bay Fabrics, Sophie. And it says, pour me a glass of sass, and I love it. And these are the beautiful threads for this. And I made the little scissor. So this is the one with the Carolina Cecile. Is it that how you say it? And the cognac, which is, for me, such a wonderful combination of like rusty reds. And the, now the neutrals are beige and taupe, and the taupe is that, it's sort of got that duck egg blue hint to it. So when you put it on the dark linen, which is by Cedar River, it just looks spectacular. And I am so close to a finish. I really should keep this one out, but what can you do when you say it about everything? This is 40 count Arboreal by Jodie. Cedar River linen, and I haven't seen her new video yet where she talks, she's given an update, I think, about her linens, so I need to get on and see what she's got to say. But her linens are stunning, and this is one of my favourite projects. Look at that Carolina Cecile pop-in and the curtains in this house. So all I've got left to do on this, because this time I've done the rabbit and I finished all the words down the side. It was these I had to do. And these are the Smyrna crosses. And it took me 3 days to do the satin stitch sawtooth border, because I need magnification to do it on 40 count arboreal, because it's so, you go in over one thread, not two. So the stitches are going in every hole. So it does take a lot of concentration, but hallelujah, the corners met up. And I just think it makes this piece, doesn't it just finish it off so beautifully? So what a fabulous stitch, and what a fabulous sentiment. Be good and do good. And I did iron this, but I had so much stuff on the ironing board, it did get a bit squashed. But isn't that just spectacular, that linen? I told you before, it looks like, to me, molten metals, because there's a bit of gold and bronze on this grungy green background. And I've enjoyed stitching on it so much. So there we are. Next time I see you, I should have this finished. And if I don't, then you need to shout at me, because I'll have got distracted and moved on to something else, because that's what we do. Then the next one that I just want to go out the garden with today and stitch, or maybe I could take it on my retreat that's coming up, because it's small enough. Now, this one is in my gorgeous bag from True Treasures. This is Trudy from, look at the project bag she makes. I mean, she gives these as giveaways on her Flosstube. You must go over and subscribe to Trudy. Trudy True Treasures. She's a friend of Christy, Crosshatch Quilts, and has been so kind to send me this bag. I can't get over it. It's beautifully made and lined. She's always got a stunning quilt behind her. She does a lot of Laurie Holt quilts, and she's a very talented stitcher. And this, I put my lovely little shepherd's bush sew a garden needle book. I just love having these little needle books for lovely projects. It just, having all the kit is just such a cool thing to do. Now, I did make the little scissor fob. I keep calling them that. I don't think that's what they are. You know what they are, don't you? For needle bling thing for this project with needle and thread. And these again are all the beautiful colours. Look at that wood rose. And what's that other red? Carolina Cecile. Okay, they're just gorgeous colours. Absolutely love this project. And I'm woefully behind, because so many people are stitching this and are making amazing progress. So this is a brand new one from market. It was my favourite thing that Brenda released. And it's called With Needle and Thread by With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. So this was the first little floss drop thing. That's what they're called, floss drops. This was the first one that I made because I knew I was going to start it immediately. I'm using the Call For linen, which is Picture This Plus Legacy, but I'm using 40 count, I think. Oh, I love Legacy. I mean, look at it. I didn't iron this because I was working on it last night. So since I saw you last, I started in the middle, which was this gorgeous bowl of tomatoes. I mean, come on. Oh, and talk about an absolute joyful Flosstube. Christy, Crosshatch Quilts, when she pulled her bag of tomato stitches out, that she's got this gorgeous bag. And I thought, oh, I'm not organised like that. My tomato stitches are all over the place, but I'd love to have a tomato bag. And when she showed that, I just thought, Sian, you've got to get on with this. So I pulled it out and I did last night more oilcloth. I think Brenda loves oilcloth. She's killing me with it. So this is the roof of oilcloth, and I'm on the last row, and then I start the kind of pattern in the roof. So I've done a lot of the fill in here. and then I'll be able to start dotting around and bring in some more fun colours. But those little tomatoes are lovely. And I was thinking another tomato finish. I've done Brenda's all the little smalls. I can't remember now what they were called, but I finished them with tomato fabric on the back, and they're up in one of my gorgeous shaker trays. And the other tomato one I did last year was by Plum Street. I think it's called Tomato Hill, and it's tiny. It's the most darling little thing. And I filled it with chickpeas, and it's on display in one of those little glass cloches in my craft cupboard. So if I ever get 5 minutes to just show you around my cupboards what I put in there, it's by no means finished or anything, but you'll see my little Tomato Hill. So that's a gorgeous one to add, Christy, into your tomato bag. So this is beautiful, and I'd love to maybe do a little bit this afternoon on that if I can ever get these videos to upload. Then a tiny bit of progress. Sorry, I'm going to have to just grab my things at the end of the ironing board. Okay, that's better. Now, every month I try to do just a few stitches. If I've got a hair appointment or something, I take this with me. Or if I'm ever sitting in the car, this is in my beautiful bag. Again, that was gifted to me at the Stitchery retreat down in Cornwall at Christmas. This is what Glynis made for us all with our little gifts in our bedroom. And it's all lined. It's just beautiful. And everything Glynis does is precious. And this is for my Smoky Santa. Now, I don't have the chart, I have a PDF for this, but I'm using all the called for threads, but I'm using Blackberry Primitives 40 count fossil instead of Dames of the Needle top hat. I call him Smoky Santa, and I think this linen is perfect, isn't it, with all the blotching to make it look like smoke's coming out of his pipe. And here he is. So I haven't touched his face or his hand or his pipe, but I've just done fill-in here. So it's such a great project to take. Although it's a bit long, I just need to keep cracking on with the fill-in. This is easy because this will all be white, and then filling in his coat. And it's not showing up brilliant, but I promise it does show very clearly in person. So it's the stars are black and the coat is grey, and it does show up. And this linen is amazing, I think, for Smoky Santa. So he's going to be fabulous, and I would love to get him done for Christmas this year. But I really need to do more, do better. Then what have we got? Right. Oh, one other thing. Now, I've been terrible at starting things, doing stitch alongs with my lovely stitchy friends. I've overcommitted and said, yes, I'll do it. And so I'm so sorry if I said I'd start things. But one thing I did manage to start, I've been saying it to you for 3 months. These are the gorgeous threads. Now, this was a conversion in the attic, sitting like that in a little bag on the side. And you know, these fit perfectly in one of my spare Kohana scissor boxes. They just, how many does it fit? 6. So if you've got any projects with 6 silks, isn't that cute that they fit like that? The colours are stunning, and this is an attic conversion for Scattered Seed Samplers Vintage Charm Pinky. Now, in the attic, this was on the top. Oh, and Brenda and Laura on their latest Flosstube. I think Brenda's finished this, and she's going to make it. I think she said she was going to make a pillow from it, because in the attic they had it on the top of one of those shaker boxes up there. So I'm not sure whether my linen's going to fit one of my boxes. If it did, great. But Britta's finished this and made it into a lovely pincushion, you know, just like that. So to have that, you could just have next to you and stick your pins in. I think it would be really useful for me to have it like that. So that's probably how I'm going to finish it. I think it's going to be quite big. So I'm stitching this with my lovely friend Anya, and Anya is from Belgium. And I'm going to have to tell you her Instagram next time because I can't remember. Isn't that bad? I should have written it down. I don't think I have. So I got a tiny start. I don't even know if that's the right way up. I think it is. I started on the roses in the middle. Now this is on Vintage Country Mocha, but I used a little bit I had left over from my, with needle and thread, I had some legacy. So 40 count legacy with the 103s is a joy because it's that little bit thinner, and you know, Picture This Plus is very tight. But look at the mottling on that. I think it's nicer than Vintage Country Mocha. I don't know, I just love it. I think Legacy's perfect. Mine isn't green, it's brown and beautiful. A sort of like goldy brown. So this is going to be so pretty, but quite a big needle book. So that's that. And it's in my, a little cute bag I made. I had these Pride and Prejudice panels. So they came, you just cut them out and make them up. I'm not sure where I got this. I've had it a long time and I made them all up. There was some big size and these little cute ones, which I just love. So yeah, I'm stitching this. Scattered Seed Samplers by Tammy Black. It's called Vintage Charm. It's used in the Attic 103 silk conversion. And when I saw it on display, I had to buy it. And this is on Picture This Plus 40 count legacy. So that's a cute little project that I could quite easily travel with. And it just about fits in this bag. I have to bend it a little bit to get in. And obviously someone sent me this cute, it could have been Maureen from Maureen's Craft Cottage, the little Pride and Prejudice, charm. So pretty. So there we are. That's all my stitching. So in terms of plans, you'll see why I fished this chart out. Britta's lent me this. This is the needleprint Beatrix Potter's Quaker sampler. I don't know if this is available, and no one's quite sure where this sampler came from. I'll read this to you again, the history on this another time. I've got a feeling that Jackie Comfort Stitcher has worked on that, hasn't she? In a gorgeous yellow, the same as, I've got a picture in at the end of the one in the actual Beatrix Potter house up at Hilltop. So that's one plan. Another plan using 103s, 664, the most beautiful red that I've never used before. I've got a load of it in my stash. And this is in a beautiful, again, a Sojo B bag. That is in the French General. I don't know the range of this one. It's not Sacre Bleu, is it? Because this is red. And this is for my little stitch that came, in my Hands Across the Sea, All Creatures Great and Small box, because of all the little animals on the bottom. This was, I think, my favourite in the box. And this is Alice, Lily and Florence. It's a Bristol Orphanage sampler, and this is number 7 in Nicola from Hands Across the Seas collection. And do you remember Barbara living in the middle of nowhere in Australia? We said we were going to start a sampler together out of the box, and I kitted it up. So Barbara, I did get this far. Please forgive me for not starting it, but I did find the threads, put them in a cute bag, labelled it, kitted it all up, and cut and serged the linen. And I've even put a pin in where I will be starting. So this linen I picked is on 46 count Tabby Cat creme brulee. I think that was the call for. Let me just check. No, it was on Dirty Teacup by Needle and Flax, but I've only got Needle and Flax Dirty Teacup in 36. And I really wanted to do this on 46 because I'm using the silks. So that's what I've done. I've cut a beautiful piece. This is a cut off the piece of linen that Brenda Sampler Stitcher so kindly gave me when we met up in Swindon at Mrs. Partman's Academy. So I think this was a bit too overdyed in places for Brenda. So she gave it to me, and I'll treasure it. I love it. And I gave Britta a cut of this as well. And I just think it'll work brilliantly for a red sampler. It's a bit more drastic than Needle and Flax Thornfield, and a bit more yellow, but only a bit. It's just there's a lot more mottling of red. But I think once the red silk is on it, it'll look amazing. So I'm going to be starting. I've measured it all out, done all the counting, so I know exactly where my first stitch is going to go in. And so I'm excited to start that. And I'd like to personalise it for Harriet, Sophie and Topsy, my 3 girls. And I'm hoping that Nicola, if I can't do it easily, I'm hoping Nicola will help me a little bit. So that's another plan. But I need time, guys. I need time to be at home. And then this is another plan. So we all know that Market Mania, which is a kind of fun game that Stitching Gem did. I've done it for the last couple of years. To be honest, once I did proper Mania years ago, where you do start a project every day, or I did the version where you do that for a week or two and then they go into a draw for the last 2 weeks of May. You know, the one that Brenda, the Handswork Maniac, does, proper Mania. But Market Mania is brilliant fun. You're supposed to start a project every week in May or something like that, you know, and that's what I did. I kitted up enough to start every weekend, but then I was away at the lakes. So my cross stitch has sort of fallen behind a little bit. So I had 2 things kitted up in here I wanted to start. One, you know, was the Banner of Benevolence. So that was the one I was supposed to start. And I did do all the hard work of, you know, the kitting. This is in a beautiful bag by Barry from Stitch Folk. And look at the fob from Nancy, Old Glory, that I picked up at the attic. And this bag from Barry is just, again, the Blackbird fabric. And everything she does is so special. And I've been waiting for something lovely to put into this bag. So I kitted this up with a very precious linen. I didn't have the called for. The called for was Old Gold by Fibre on a Whim. So I picked an old gold that I had, and this is 40 count vintage sand dune that was so kindly gifted to me by Barry. And it's the perfect size to do something like this on. So I thought it was a brilliant match for that pillow. And I just love this. I love Silver Creek samplers. Remember I did that Christmas finish, and it's precious. And I think the sentiment of this, there's nothing on there that I don't wholeheartedly agree with and believe in. I just thought it was such a fun stitch, and I love stitching words. So I've got it all ready. I think I got the threads as well. Yeah, and I've even made the little, I must have had a day of sitting down, catching up, making all my little thread floss drops. Oh, I know why, because that was my table gift. When we went up to the lakes, I made 20 floss drops. So these are the beautiful colours. Obviously, oh, and that's what the red was for. So the red was missing. I think it was one of the Gentle Arts old red paint, maybe. And so that's arrived. It's up in my craft room, so I can add that. Now I know what that's for. I'd completely forgotten. That's the thing, isn't it? When you take a week out on a retreat and your head is spinning with all the stuff you buy and all the new kits you get there, and you come back to your cross stitch and I'd forgotten what everything was for. So that's another plan for May. If I ever get 2 minutes, I would love to start. Right, that's my cross stitch. So unusually, what I'm going to do now, because I've got so much to show you from the Beatrix Potter retreat, I am going to do my quilting next, because I have done a lot of quilting. I'll show you that next, and then I can do all the embroidery and the haul related to that at the end. Okay, I'm absolutely baking in here. So first I had, for March and April, one more block. It was block 3 to do for my Raven quilt by Blackbird Designs, and it was this block with the yellow moon at the top and that beautiful purple pop there. this crazy bird. So that blackbird, or the raven, that raven is the one that I did, and I haven't finished it, but I've done most of the grunt work, if you like, for block 3. Let me show you. So this is the one, but the silence was broken. And I think I put the poem in, didn't I? One of my other Flosstubes. I just love it. I was going to read the relative chapter each month, but I didn't fish it out. I'll do that next time. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word Lenore. Is it Lenore? I think it might be Lenore. Anyway, that's part of the poem, and this was so much fun. So the hardest part of this is cutting out the 20.5-inch background block, because you need to try and square up. Oh, Sean, stop talking and just show it. You need to try and get it square and the right thing, which is really hard, you know, on the big cupboards. And also still keep your lines in the gingham sort of not going too off. Anyway, here it is in all its glory. I mean, look at it. And I've made all the bias tape. I made the Karen K. Buckley perfect circles using the smallest circle on the shape, and they're pretty. I'm pretty proud of them. They were in purple, and that gorgeous flower was in purple, and everything else is in the classic blackbird browns, and the gingham background is just to die for. The mustard moon. And look at the bird. And I tried to fussy cut some of the leaves around the chest to look a bit feathery, just like Barb and Alma did. And the moon up there, and all different pieces. So I've appliqued the bird down. I did that yesterday. And I've appliqued a bunch of the leaves at the top and the moon. So they're on, and I'm pretty proud of those. And just so you know, as it's down here, I can quickly show you. Look at this. Remember the little box I made to hold my hand applique stuff? So this is the thread I use for this, in a gorgeous little Sue Phillips little tin, a vintage, like dariole. And then she puts these beautiful old fabrics on the top. And a little bow. This came in an advent calendar from the Stitchery years ago, 5 years ago. So this is where I keep my little Kohana pin with a needle with a tiny head. And what you do for appliquing is once you thread it, you tie a knot in it with this really thin YLI soft touch pale grey. It just becomes invisible when you applique it. I don't know if you can see the colour of it. It's wafer thin thread, so it allows you to tie a knot in the top, and the knot will come through the fabric, so it never unthreads. Otherwise, appliquing by hand can be painful. So I keep that in my gorgeous little box that I made with Sharon Chris Silver. And Sharon, we send you love and hope you're on the mend and doing really well. She's just had some surgery and is such a positive thing. And you know, she comes to so many of Nikki's events and stitchery retreats. We spent lovely time together in Cornwall at Christmas. And we missed her at the lake. She wasn't at the lakes. We did miss her. So this is a beautiful box using her cartonnage kits. And this is amiably true fabric that I may have bought more of at the retreat that I'll show you in a minute. Anyway, that's all in my little applique box. So it's so easy to travel around with that, around the house. And the thread, literally, you can use on all the colours, the yellow, the purple. Now, don't get me wrong, for the Laurie Holt quilts like that, I do invest in the coloured, because they're more primary colours, the reds, the greens. I use the coloured Laurie Holt little patch you can buy. of Orofill thread to hand choose, but this is so much quicker and easier on a neutral sort of browny, yellow, purple. I use the Wildlife grey thread, and it is invisible. You can't see it even on black. I promise. So it's kind of like a quicker method, because these blocks take a long time. So pretty much yesterday, all I managed to do was the bird and the wing and the moon and those flowers and the bias at the top. But it's so much fun, and those, I just, brings me so much joy to do the quilting. So that was one thing, and now I've got to do block 4 in May, June, and I'm here in June, so I've got some time. I'm not worried about that. Then another thing I did, remember Fat Quarter Shop so kindly sent me a fat quarter bundle of the amazing Laurie Holt Berry and Sage. This was hot off the press with these gorgeous colours. And so I said, yes, of course, I'd love to join you in the Simply Sweet Sew Along. And it was to make this table runner. But when I looked at the amount of fabric that they sent, I realised, oh, this is in my gorgeous file that Jill from Count On Linen so kindly sent me when I bought the next kit I'm going to share from her little shop. She threw this in the box, and so I'm keeping all my Laurie current projects in here. So this sew along was so much fun, and I'm not sure if Fat Quarter Shop did a film yesterday, but the week before I saw the 6 blocks that Kimberly had made, and I am so proud of myself, because for me these are quite big blocks. And yet I think I did a great job. My piecing came out really nicely, and I think I did a post on Instagram, because some of my lovely stitchy friends that are so much more experienced and talented than I am did say to me, oh, well done on your piecing, because my points matched up. So these are the fabrics. So what I've done is I've done the 6 blocks, and I was supposed to have finished it and cut the sash in and made up the runner. But I'm thinking of doing 9 blocks and making a little small square quilt, because I think that would be really almost more useful for me, and I can have it out in the garden, and maybe if I could get my act together, even take it to the hen do, which is in 2 weeks. Wouldn't it be lovely to, because we're having a picnic in the park in London before we go out in the night. And I thought, wouldn't it be great if I could actually get this quilt finished, a little small, so it'd be 9 of these 3x3. So there's 3 different colour combos. This is the first one, gorgeous berry and sage. And so there's 2 of those I've done. Then this is the second colour combo. So the background is different, the pink here is different. The only thing that's the same is the red and the green stem, but the leaves are different. I mean, look at the beautiful fabrics here. Everything Laurie does is just gotta have it all. So there's 2 of those. They did take me a long time, but you know, I was going up in the evening, and once I got it down on how to sort of make these squares, then it kind of made sense on how to put the actual block together. And it's so much fun stitching down something as big as this, because I'm used to the tiny little 6.5 inch blocks, which are really, really fiddly. So this was just such a joy, and I do recommend it. I do recommend quilting. It's so quick. You get something beautiful like this made so quickly. So this is the 3rd colour combo. This is a little scrap that I used to finish my Spring Swan pocket when I was in my Faye Rigsby, channeling Faye Rigsby to cut the little pocket. And so that's the 3rd block. And look at the colour of the leaves. Look at that gingham check. Just fabulous. So I've done 2 of those. So if I could just get a day to do another 3, then I could make I don't know if there's enough fabric to do matching sashing, but you know, if I got creative and had some time, I'd love to do that. And the girls always say, Mum, when are you making a quilt for us? And I'm like, oh, it's really bad that to say to your own kids, I haven't got the time to make you one, guys, because I'm always doing something with Fat Quarter Shop instead. So yeah, beautiful fabric. So that's another huge amount of work I've done since I saw you last. And then the other thing is, I told you I had them ready cut. So this is literally hot off the press because I made this morning. Now I mustn't show you the chart, but this is the Laurie Holt Farm Fresh Quilt Along using Farm Girl Vintage 1 and 2 books. And this time the fresh pairs was in the original Farm Girl Vintage. So you would do that's the pattern that you follow from the books, which I already had. And then what Laurie did was she released this beautiful Farmer's Daughter fabric and recolored it using these fabrics. So you use this so you know what to cut. So I'll show you what the pear block looks like. Oh, it's all so beautiful. So that's what these are the colours and the fabrics that are the new Farmer's Daughter. So I just finished that last night and this morning, but I had it cut last time. So you can see I'm a bit behind because this is actually for the 5 blocks for April. Thank goodness we got July off, that's all I can say. Now I'm doing this quilt along with Jill and Kimmy, her sister, because they're brilliant quilters. And I bought the kit for this from Jill's Canton Linen Shops. Do go and have a look. It's on Etsy and she sells beautiful linen for cross stitch as well, named after all the parks down in Salt Lake area of the USA. She's such a lovely lady. And I'm behind Jill. I haven't seen your latest Flosstube. So now I'm back from my retreat. I need to catch up this weekend before I head off on my next retreat, which is on Tuesday. We're flying to Puglia for the next one. Anyway, I'll talk about that in a minute. So here's the first block. And I've forgotten what it was called, but I'm sure you know. This one was something like Feed and Seed. Yes, the Feed and Seed block. Isn't it beautiful? I'm pretty pleased with my points. And it's so much fun. And the colours, look at them. Just love it. So that's one of the little 6.5. And then this is an absolute, this has to be one of my favourite blocks I've done. The pears, fresh pears. So this is a 12.5-inch block. This is hot off the press. I've literally just took the clappers off this. And again, the points are perfect. I don't know if it's because I got a new quilty mat from the Quilted Bear. My other one, the magic was kind of losing, you know, so the surface had come off really. I've used it so much, so I treated myself to a new cutting mat. I think it makes a difference. Who'd have thought? So there we are. Look at the gorgeous colours. And I know it looks a bit wonky, but that's because, you know, I haven't put the 1/4-inch seam off the side here yet. But when it's joined into the sashing, but isn't it pretty? And, you know, when they have their pips embroidered in the square, it will just look amazing. Do you remember when we did the velvet pear with the hedgehog inside by Stacey Nash? Was it Market last year or the year before? And we were all trying to get that rhubarb Lady Dot Creates velvet. And we made it into the pear and it looked great. But when you put the little cross in the bottom, just, you know, a little long stitch, made a little cross and it just finished the pear and it looks so professional. And I think that's what happens here. When you put those little seeds in, it's gonna look amazing into the middle of so it looks like the pear's been cut in half, whereas this is a whole pear. So there's a lot more fiddling about with this one. So that's how it should be. Just fabulous. Laurie Holt. Everything she does. She's killing me because I want all the kits, all the things. So that's my quilting. And then just quickly, in terms of plans, now, because this is the Peter Rabbit Edit edition, I thought I'll just remind you of something that I would love to do. I'm probably going to wait for now because I don't have any, you know, immediate plans to start this. But this was from Fat Quarter Shop. What a beautiful presentation box. And now we're all in our Peter Rabbit era. This came with this beautiful book inside. And I did buy an extra panel so that if I wanted to try and copy the idea of the kit from Fat Quarter Shop, which comes here all beautifully packaged with the chart and the box, look at this. I mean, so if you ever get the chance to get these special presentation boxes, because you can fold the quilt up in here and gift it, what a gift that would be. And it's just beautiful. I didn't let myself get the Benjamin Bunny edition that was just released a month or so ago. They may even still have them. If they do, I thoroughly recommend, because in the UK, I could get the panel. So I did treat myself to the Benjamin Bunny panel. I was talking to Barry at Stitch Folk about this. I've got a feeling, in fact, I did buy her a little Benjamin Bunny, one of the Royal Albert China ones, because we can get them here secondhand on Etsy. Look at that, isn't it darling? And then you could just do some patchwork, couldn't you, around the edge? I'm sure that's what this Peter Rabbit quilt is going to be, the panel and patchwork around the edge. So I can get Peter Rabbit linen fabric, over here pretty easily. So I just thought I'll buy the panels, and I got this from the quilt shop in West Wales. It's down in Tenby. I love to support them because they're relatively local to me. And so yeah, I bought 2 panels in case. So now I've got 2 Peter Rabbit and 2 Benjamin Bunny panels. You know, what I'm going to do with them all, I don't know. But you never know. One day we might have so many grandchildren that'll all want Peter Rabbit quilts. And so it's in my stash, isn't it? And once these things sell out, that's it. You can never get them again. It's not like cross stitch where you know that the fabrics and the linens are going to be available in the future. You know, it's just not like that with quilting. If you see it and you love it, you just got to get it. You can't mess about. So there we are. That's my Benjamin Bunny plan for quilting. How are we doing? Oh dear. Right, embroidery. I've got a lot to share with you. The desk is covered in stuff. Maybe I'll move the quilt blocks down there. Right, okay, here we go then. So what happened was, after I saw you last, I went to the hairdresser and I took this with me because I was so sick of saying I was going to start it. This is by the Stitchery. It was kit number 1. I've had it for donkey's years in my corner shop, and it's one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. And I wanted to make it for, hopefully for my niece's wedding, but at this rate, Harriet is going to be for Harriet's wedding because I'm behind. So it's the rose basket, and it came on the most gorgeous, really old, sort of slubby, thick French linen. Look at that. And I've started it and I love it. I've done the basket. So I've done that basket weave stitch. Basically, you do long stitches and then you weave in and out to sort of try and make it look like a, I know it's mad to put the lights on, but, and bullion knots galore. So in the middle, 2 tiny bullion knots, say with 7 wraps in the darkest pink. You sit them next to each other and then you do 3 bullion knots with the middle pink, say 11 wraps or 9 wraps, something like that. So you're starting to build up. So now when I go back with the pale pink and do loads of bullions around the edge, you can see where it's going to go. And then there's some white French knots to look like lilacs or whatever these pointy flowers are. Isn't it going to be beautiful? I'd love to do that to make the pillow for Meg and Ed because they're getting married in June. I could do this. I could take it with me to Puglia and stitch around the pool or in the evening. And it would be really nice to put their money, because all kids need money, don't they, towards their honeymoons and things. So I was going to give them a check and I could roll it up in the back and make the little pillow for them. I think that's what I would like to do. I just need to get on with it. But I was in the hairdresser using the dark brown, and the girls were not that, they were like, oh, what's that you're making? They weren't overly impressed. But now I've kind of done the whipping on it, and I've whipped the handle really over the top so it looks chunky. I think it's going to be really pretty. So there we are. That's a little thing I did because I was very excited. And I'll just show you the most beautiful threads with it. Classic Nikki pinks and greens there, dusty greens. So that's something I really need to keep out and get back to. I've said that about everything on the whole thing. And then we went up to the Lake District. And do you know, I can't even remember what day. Did we go on a Saturday? I think so. So Ben Ashby from Walton's Creek, you know, I went last year to a retreat at his place in Kentucky with the stitchery and with Christy Jones-Ray and all the team. And Ben is a photographer and is an editor of a really famous new magazine now. Is it Cottage Life? Anyway, I can find it for another time and share with you. So he carried our bags literally from the, we were up in the attic, Barry, Britta and me had 3 rooms kind of next to each other, up in the attic quarters. So when I arrived at my front door, I had this gorgeous linen label hanging on my door. Nikki gets all of these made up. She pays an artist to write the name. And you've got a lovely old, a bit of ribbon hanging. So that's on your door. That just gives you a flavour of the whole vibe. Please stay for the end. This retreat, Nikki's been planning since COVID and lockdown, and it had to be postponed and delayed and cancelled so many times. And in the end, she managed to get it booked and the right place on the lakes. The sun shone, it was boiling hot. We all took the wrong clothes because we had woolly jumpers and jeans because it was April, you know. We're not used to it being that hot. So it was just so much fun. Such a small, intimate group of ladies at this retreat. And Susan from the deli in Castle Ashby in Northampton, who cooked for us at Christmas down in Cornwall, did all the food, and her food is just fabulous, very rich, very French, quite naughty, but you know, it's a treat, isn't it? So we had the most amazing time. So we got to our room and I had the most stunning room with a lake view, a double bed, an ensuite. It was just fabulous. And sitting on the bed was, oh guys, before I start, please nag me about starting this as well for Harriet's wedding. I still haven't done that, but just to get that one out of the way. So we got our label on the door and then we went in, and on the bed was this gift bag with your name, and inside some lovely, you know, tissues and sweets and hand sanitizer and all the rest of it, and our little badge that was handmade. Now, I think Caroline made this. It was either Caroline or Sue from Homespun with Love. And Caroline is Glorious Day Flowers, and she project manages these events now for Nikki. And so we had this lovely badge, all handmade with a little, somebody's done a little embroidered heart on it, you know. So we had to wear this down to dinner on the first night. And we had a vintage book. So I've got a lovely old Peter Rabbit edition with the price in it. And so this was all there, and a little agenda. The lakes with the stitchery, April 2026, and it's the tale of Peter Rabbit. So that was on your bed, and inside the agenda, and I mean, what an itinerary. It was just an incredible retreat. I mean, people said it was the best retreat they've ever been to, and you know, it's silly to say it because every time you go away you say that, but this was really, really special. If you get a chance to go next year, there was so much demand when Nikki released the dates for next year that she's turned it into a 2-week retreat. And Barry from Stitch Folk and Charmaine from Australia, my lovely friend, who was there this time. I've met her before at the stitchery. She managed to get on for 2 weeks. So many people. There were 3 Americans, Robin and Beth from the States and Sharon from the States, who I met in Kentucky. They're all coming back next year. I think Robin's coming for 2 weeks. She's one of Nikki's like super fans, as is Charmaine. As is Barry now, as is Britta. So we're all so excited. If you get a chance to book yourself on, I do highly recommend it. So I'll keep this out because it'll help me talk through all the things we have. So we had this thing on our bed, and then we went down for dinner, and we had candles on the fireplace. It was just stunning. Everything Nikki does is done, it's exquisite in the best taste, you know. Anyway, the next morning we came down and we walked into the room and we gasped out loud, and there was a pop-up shop. I'll show you the haul of what I bought each day in a minute. It was just stunning. We had a little pot with our names and Peter in on our sort of name badges, you know, on our table where to sit. And so I was sitting in the middle of Barry and Britta, and Nikki just looked amazing, had the most incredible shot. We weren't allowed to go in the room until 10 o'clock. It was all a surprise set up the night before. So when we walked in, this beautiful bag with old vintage linen with a gorgeous zip was sitting on our table, and somebody gifted us this little floss drop, and it's got a little fussy cut, amiably true rabbit, and it's lined with that same fabric. But you know, that's not all. You get your nudge hoop, you get your little stitchery box with a little tiny scissors. We got the ordinary Bowen needles plus the number 10, which are the tiny tops for applique, which are really good for very fine one strand satin stitch. So we did need those for the project. Wait till you see it. And this darling little, and Nikki didn't even know that Glynis was making us these. She just took the extra fussy cut rabbits and made 20 of these using this beautiful Julie Collins silk tie-dye ribbon. Can you see the peach goes from light to dark, you know, like her velvets, just beautifully made. And so we had our little needle book so we could get started straight away, because when we opened the kit, we about nearly died. And thank you, Glynis. What a beautiful thing to have in your space on the table. So this was day one. This is what we had. The blue coat, inspired by Beatrix Potter, the Stitchery embroidery kit. And when we went on our trip, we actually saw the garden with the blue coat in the World of Beatrix Potter, and we were in the actual garden, you know, where she wrote this story and everything. So if I show you, all with a beautiful ribbon, you know, the Stitchery, gorgeous packaging, everything Nikki does is just beyond amazing. This is after I stitched the project, all the threads that were left, and the gorgeous colours, the periwinkle blue, because we did stitch a periwinkle, and just all the beautiful colours. And this is what the blue coat looked like. So I've got some lovely pictures in at the end of the shop of the actual stitch that Nikki did with the carrots on the back, and then a few of my own, because I actually, when I got home, this is what I did last week. I'd done the stitching there. I think I'd done all the embroidery when I was actually at the lakes, because we were going outside in the sunshine, and when I came home, I made it up. So we were given the beautiful ribbon, the silk sari ribbon, and I nearly forgot to stitch mine down when I was making my book up, but I managed. So this is the stitch. Oh, it was so much fun. So we've got a very fine blue coat stitched with, it's padded. I don't think is it double padded? No, it's just padded, single stitch, satin stitch on the blue coat with the gold French knots for his little buttons, and a whipped a scarecrow stick there. These are the little foxgloves, which are just whipped seed stitches to suggest little bells. These are the hollyhocks, which are again a buttonhole stitch whipped and whipped over and over to give it the texture. The little carrots, fly stitch to make the little tops, and padded satin stitch for the carrots. These dahlias are lazy daisies, layers on layers on layers, and then a couple of green. These little stem stitch roses, so you try to keep them very loose to make them look sort of like open roses. And again, more hollyhocks. I mean, the hollyhocks to me makes this piece, and the blue coat. Those hollyhocks, they're so textured. And oh, and the radishes. Yeah, the little radishes. Oh, and this is a new stitch. I'd never done this before, the buttonhole stitch. The cast on stitch. So it's a bit like a bullion knot. It's a bit like knitting, but with a thread. And then when you couch it down at the end, it turns on itself and makes a little like knitted cast on stitch. It is very effective. And again, never done it before, but YouTube's your friends. If you Google that, you can learn how to make a cast on stitch in 2 moments. And so on this gorgeous old linen, we did the back then. So there's the darker blue for the little forget-me-nots, and loads of open fly stitch for the carrot tops, and then a little bit of brown in the dark orange to make like the knobbles on the carrots, if you like, and the roots. And I just put a tiny SP 2026, and we were given the badge, so I just couched that fray in there a bit, but that's fine. Just pop that on there. And then we were given the blanket, the piece of blanket to use for your needlebook. And when I got home, I found my typewriter and just typed that out, because that's what Nikki did in hers. We all want to be like Nikki. She also put in a little pocket on the front. So I used some of my very, very favourite Brenda Riddle fabric that I made Topsy's quilt. The backing of Topsy's quilt was in that. So I've always got scraps and just a few odd sizes that are useful for tiny things like this. And a little Peter Rabbit that was in some of the cakes that Susan had made for us. I've never eaten so much cake, but it was so good. It was hard not to. And then inside, this is one of my little Suzanne Curtis badges. I just thought it would look so cute in there. And one of my Chapel View Craft little fairy cake pins. And then we did a bit more typing. Well, I did when I got home because I wanted to be like Nikki. And so that's the inside of the needlebook. I'm so proud of this. Nikki gave us this beautiful old, looks really old fabric. And so I just turned the corner over and put some of the cord in that. Do you remember last time Tioni had sent me a little pack from Australia with Britta when she came back of finishing fabrics, and I used one of the red laces, Tioni, because you said, I can't wait to see how you use some of the pieces, and that was kind of on my mind. And I thought, I want you to know that every time someone sends me something, I do really appreciate it. So I used it to just finish off the top of the pocket, and I thought it went really well. So I stitched it over so that I can put some scissors in there and bits, and really use it now as a needlebook. But that has to be one of the most beautiful things I've finished in the last 12 months. I'm so proud of it. At the end, so she gave us all the linen to make the 2 pieces. You stitch it all together and leave a turning thing in the bottom. You bag it out, basically. And then at the end, I went round the edge, and my heart was in my mouth, but I did properly top stitch it down like you would, with a quilt, or finishing the strawberry needle roll that I made. Nikki and Glynis, her mum, they do top stitch down, and it just gives it that sort of professional finish. It looks like a little book, doesn't it? I mean, what a project. So the day one project, I finished it. I love it. I think it's just fabulous, and I will treasure it and probably pop it up in my Peter Rabbit display cupboard. I'll take a picture because I have got quite a lot of the Peter Rabbit china over the years. Always had it in the kids' nursery when they were little, and I've kept it, you know, and it was just sort of shoved in a cupboard. So I've dusted it off, put it in the cupboard, and it looks so amazing. And now I've got a few Peter Rabbit stitches to go with it. It's in pride of place now in the front of my cupboard. Anyway, that was such a fun thing. So that was day one, and I'll show you the haul that I got on day one. So in the photos at the end, you'll see how Nikki arranged all these things so beautifully. This is French General. I've lined my Stitchery Sisters needle book with this fabric from French General, just gorgeous, and a really good price, so I got that. When we walked in, on the table in front of our spaces were all these displays of vegetables, like celery, cabbage, in with all the flowers in vintage old scrubby pots. Caroline had done a fantastic job. You know, she's a florist. She used to do wedding flowers. So she just made all the candles, and every dinner table looked amazing. And stuck in between the flowers were these gorgeous carrots that she made. I mean, how could you not buy these? So it just says notes from the carrot patch, and she's sort of printed on there. So that'll be really useful in a spring display. In fact, you could just leave it on the card and do like she did and put it in between the flowers. So I did get one of those. I got quite a few extra little bundles of the fabric. There's another French General. I thought these are quite cute to have dotted about in the middle of your stitch finishes, because that's how Nikki has them in the shop, like this. This was a beautiful collection. I don't even know what the fabric is, but the tiny little rose hips, you know, I'm all about mini roses. I just love the colours in that, and really, really like that. So I don't know if that's Three Sisters, maybe. Here's another one. It's got the same little rose hip in, but it had the navy, which is really useful sometimes for doing the Stacey Nash needle things. With the dark brown, she often has the blues with it, and I just love that little strawberry. So some gorgeous little fat quarter bundles. And when you see the pictures of how Nikki has it in the shop, you couldn't really leave it there. Then I did get an extra little bundle of vintage linens that she was selling, like just little scraps. So if I want to make another rose basket, I can do that. I've got supplies. I did get a pack of the Amiably True. I showed you my little applique box that I used my stash of this up. It's gorgeous. And I had a different stripe in this one. A stripe is always so lovely, and look at these spring colours, the green and yellow, and this pink. Oh man, these are gorgeous colours. Gorgeous fabric, Amiably True. Nikki still sells this in the shop, I think. So if you would like some of this, I'm pretty sure the Stitchery has it online. Just beautiful fabrics. So good for finishing smalls. Little packs of buttons like this were available. They're all old and French and beautiful. So we've got one of those. I got some bowing pins in the pink, which are always out of stock online. So when I saw those, I picked those up. Very useful for quilting. A tiny little travel scissors. And then if you get them taken off you, it's not such a big deal, but aren't they cute? So that'll go in my embroidery bag to travel with. Some more Amiably True fabric bundles. These were just dotted all around the place, and gorgeous, gorgeous stripes. And this is the one that Glynis used. She used a different colour, but the same thing to fussy cut for little needle books. And on the front of our project bag, so thoughtful. And then one more, I just got the plain, like the sort of, what do you call these backgrounds? Just the little shirt and stripes. Just gorgeous colours, aren't they? So those are the Amiably True bundles. I did ask Nikki before for, and look, it came with a beautiful card because Drew brought it down for me. There were postcards all over the place, and the tailor, the pie and the patty tin. And so I've always wanted this. This is a very early kit. This was number 3. I've seen the samples so many times, and it's quite sort of well handled at this stage because it's been around so many fairs with Nikki, but it's so beautiful and I just have always wanted it. So I did buy the kit for this. When am I going to start that? Who knows? Who knows? But that was so lovely. And also on the second day that Nikki had, which was day 5, I think, she'd refreshed the shop with loads of new things. So I got these beautiful little panels to make like a little doll quilt, or you could put them in a little baby quilt. So they're so sweet. I put a photo in at the end of them together because they're quite hard to show, but they're thicker, slightly thicker quilty fabric. So I picked some really cute, I've always loved Mrs. Rabbit. I think being a mum of 3 girls, and the Tailor of Gloucester, that has to be one of the best of the stories. I think this is the one that James Norton narrates, and I love his voice. It's such a cute story. It's a little bit like The Elves and the Shoemaker, isn't it? You come down and the magic fairy is stitched. There's Mrs. Rabbit. Yeah, the magic elves have stitched your quilt or made the shoes. And of course we had to have that because the blue coat was the piece of the week, and the little bunnies. So I think I got 6, did I? I got 6, so I thought I could put them together and make sort of like a little doll quilt if I ever needed to do that. They were gorgeous. Oh, one other thing, that when we walked in the room and we gasped, the table display, but the pop-up shop, but also Christy Jones-Ray had hand painted. Now, I'd followed the story of her doing this on her Instagram stories. There was a fantastic display of these eggs. They're not breakable, but they are delicate because obviously they've been hand painted in the gorgeous little egg trays. So honestly, I wanted 6, but these were so cute. I would only let myself buy the 2. So these are the ones that I got. I got one. Look how tiny her little leaves are in the green, the little ivy leaf around the, oh, just loved that so much. So I got that one. She had everything, thimbles, a daffodil. How I left the daffodil there, I don't know, living in Wales. Look at this one with like a little sort of quilt behind the hydrangea. Just exquisite painting on these little eggs. So everyone went mad and bought a lot of her eggs, and she signed them with her initials on the back. So cute. So I'm hoping those will fit somewhere really sweet in my little craft cupboard. Need to keep those safe. They're quite delicate, I think. Then one other thing Nikki had in her shop on day 5 was these little packs. I've shown you before some packs of the kind of silk noir material and the threads. They were there, but I've already got those and haven't used them, so I didn't let myself get more. But I did get some of this beautiful old vintage lace. Really nice, very useful. You can always cut strips to decorate the edge of needle books inside, or even use around your pillows, you know, like these. They're great to sort of back little things, you know. Anyway. Got one of those. I think everybody did. And then Glynis had a few of these in the shop for sale using the Amiably True fabrics. So I treated myself to one of her portfolios, and these were incredible value actually. And they've got the little magnet over the front that'll clip on. And inside it's got a pocket with some zips. Really useful and beautiful. And they've got the gorgeous mats, you know, lining, so you can keep all your threads and that inside. So that was lovely. Thanks for making those, Glynis, and thinking of us. And everyone was different, so I picked this green one because I thought that was just really lovely. Amiably True green is a gorgeous colour fabric. So that was day 1. Then of course, you know, we have a lovely dinner and we come back down and we've got our little table names. And then day 2 was so much fun. Day 2 was with Sue. Now, I've told you I've bought many things from Sue over the years and had a lot of her little things in my advent calendar. Like, for example, this little worry bear that's got the little dried peas inside. I've got one in my stitchy case that I wear my little Stacey Nash raspberry wax around his neck. And this is a spare I had in an advent calendar this year or last year. Or maybe I bought it in the shop. I don't know, but I got 2 of these and Sue's things are fabulous. So Sue was running Homespun with Love. She was running day 2 and it was called Wash Day. Now she works so closely with Nikki. They do everything together and she's been with Nikki from the very start. They're very good creative girls together. I'm going to keep this from one of Sue's cakes and put it in my little needle book later. So we came down and we had a kit for Wash Day in front of us. This cute little bag she made for us. And we also got our Jemima Puddle Duck little ruler off Caroline, Glorious Day Flowers, who's project managing the thing for Nikki. Everything was just beautiful. And a Miss Tiggy Winkle sticker, because of course she did the laundry for Peter and all the little animals. So of course she was going to have a project. And this is what we did. So let me show you. This was the project. This is Sue's flyer. Sue Phillips, Homespun with Love. She's got a shop on Folksy and she sells beautiful things. This was the kit. Lucy's Wash Day primitive dress. And there's the little poem you might remember. So the patterns in here. This is inspired by the story of Mrs. Tiggy Winkle. They that wash on Monday have all week to dry. They that wash on Tuesday are not much awry. They that wash on Wednesday are not so much to blame. They that wash on Thursday wash for shame. They that wash on Friday wash in need. They that wash on Saturday are dirty indeed. Just thought, you know, so well thought out. Full instructions, full kit. This is the scraps I've got left. We had the threads, we had the lace, we had the inspiration, we had our names typed out, we had access to stampers and bits and laces and ribbons, and we were given, this is the haul I got in Sue's little shop after. You can see the gorgeous linens. I won't take it out, but you get a gist, don't you? It's all old, it's all ditzy prints, and it's all a sort of scrubby tea colour, and the stripes look kind of like biblical, like, I don't know, like the shepherds would have worn, something like that. It's just all gorgeous, and there's always a red gingham thrown in. So we had our blank dresses, and there's some pictures of Nikki holding. So Sue cut the shape, and then we were given our piece, and we were left for the day to finish it into a like Miss Tiggy Winkle doll's dress. And so what I did was cut a notch neck into mine and run an old sort of Hessian lace through. I gathered my sleeves and put lace around and put little bows, little old ripped bows on the top. Sue made us the peg out of bits of rusty wire and twigs, and this project was so much fun. So there's photos in at the end of how other people, you didn't have to put a pinny on, but me and Barry did a pinny, and Barry sort of helped guide me on how to gather mine nicely at the top here. So that's what I did. I did a pinny out of my extra piece, and I also made a pocket using the pattern that Sue gave us. And then I went round with some red stitching afterwards, and I put a little tie and I topped it with lace. Another useful thing to do with your lace, top a little pocket with it. We had the gypsophilia to bring home, which is dried and put in it. And we had a little peg doll, which we wrapped in some gorgeous gingham prints. I made a little badge, a bit like Suzanne Curtis sent for me. I kind of used that for inspiration to make a little badge to pin on at the top. and a couple of scraps at the bottom, and just a few French knots and straight stitches on the bottom of her pinny. Then we made a little bag. You could either put the peg doll or your handkerchief, because you had a piece of old French handkerchief, which I put in here, and I used the stampers that Sue showed us. I'd never used them before. It's not perfect, but I just say wash day. You could write anything you liked on there. And we blanket stitched around the little piece of blanket. And it was like being back in the brownies, you know, when you learn how to do blanket stitch and things. And then I took the selvage of some old strips of linen and ripped it to make the little tie for her bag. So there's her wash day bag on this. Look at the gorgeous piece of old quilt that she gave us. Just really lovely. And then on the back, to have a little something, I used the Suffolk puff that Sue gave us and another little bow, just to get the contrast of red with the kind of mustard yo-yo on the back. So yeah, I managed to finish mine in the day and left it up on the little doll's hanger in the laundry room, as it were. And Sue was so kind to put a picture of it on her Instagram, because she's got so many followers. I couldn't believe she did that. So yeah, isn't that fabric just gorgeous? Just beautiful. So that was so much fun and really pushed us outside our comfort zone, because, you know, it's hand stitching and gathering and making a pocket, and that, it was so much fun. And you could do this sort of thing with your kits, to make a little wash day label out of your bit of quilt if you wanted. They were all repurposed sort of cutter quilt pieces. So that was that. And then a little bit of haul, because Sue has got such a gorgeous shop. I did get a few things. I've got a little chart, and I've got a picture of the hearts finished in at the end. And I have bought a few things like hearts from Sue over the years. So I got, I did buy this gorgeous star, because I thought that would look really nice for the 250th celebrations with all my patriotic pieces on a bit of old blanket. Just so lovely. And now I've got a whole box of these from Eastern Europe at the garage, but mine is so rusty. That says Sweet Land to Liberty, by the way, or something like that. Yeah, Sweet Land to Liberty. So this can either sit in here, or you could put the hearts in here, and it's quite a clever way to stand things up in your display cabinet. But I need to brush mine off because they're too rusty. So that's quite cute, isn't it? Yeah, there were so many things I could have bought. What else? I bought a lovely bit of old quilt turned into a little sort of scissor travel sewing case. You can smell the laundry, the detergent on there. I just thought that's quite practical, isn't it, to take your stitch, or make an applique little pouch of threads with that. I bought a little threadbare. Britta told me I had to buy this. She's got one. And so, and actually Nicky's got one in the stitchery as you walk in, so he can go in my stitching cupboard upstairs, and he's a threadbare. Never had a chance to buy one of those before. I have got another rusty old wire. I did buy okay, two more things. I've already got one of these in my advent calendar, and it's so useful. I use it all the time I start my embroidery. So I've now got a little spare one. Very cute, made by Sue out of old quilt. A little pin cushion. I just thought that was very useful. A little pack of hearts, which I can hang off the gorgeous trees that I showed you last month in my stitchy room. So if I want to change out from Christmas stockings, Old Mother Goose, the trees I bought, remember I shared last time, so many of you loved those. I can always hang these on for Valentine's or something, because they got little hooks, which is dead useful. And then this beautiful, now she's quite expensive, I've forgotten what she's called, but she's one of Sue's dolls, and so she does different theme ones. This is the book one for the Beatrix Potter retreat, but she does ones with like carrying a heart at Valentine's, or a pumpkin, or a star at Christmas, and they're just beautifully made. She's got little French knots all around her head, and look at her dress and her books. So I really loved her. She had a few of these for sale in the shop, and she's got bloomers on, so she can sit next to me on my stitchy chair. I love her. So that was what I bought in Sue's beautiful little shop. Just get rid of that. What? Oh, right then. Okay, that's my haul for that day. I did pretty good, didn't I? Then day 3, we had the joy of meeting Sarah from the Stitchery Sisters. Now, this is Nikki's little sister, you know, and she's doing really well. Now, she went to Nashville and she made us, well, it was such a kind thing. She gave us the full kit. The linen, which was needle bling ginger snap, and she let us change to 40 count. She's so easygoing, Sarah. She's so kind. She gave us this gorgeous kit for a project called Allotment Charm, and we were all in our kind of stitching vegetable era, you know, a bit like Kay Facet's cabbage tapestry cushion. We were really into that vibe while we were in the Lake District. So it has a little rabbit on the back and the carrots on the front. She gave us all the week's thread. She gave us the linen, the charts, and so I stitched mine up, and when I came home, I finished it and made it up into the, it's meant to be like a little scissor fold, but I don't know why, I just saw it calling to me to go on my little knitting basket. So that's the ginger snap linen, which was a new one released at market that Sarah managed to get quite a bit of when she was in Nashville. And I couldn't believe that it's got the most gorgeous blotch on it. It looks like it's been out the garden. And look at those carrots. It was so much fun to stitch the aubergine, and the threads are gorgeous. And so it sits on my little basket, and I think I might leave it there because I think it's so cute. This has got socks that I've never even started in. So that was on Wednesday, and then obviously I did do a shop in Sarah's gorgeous shop. So this is what she had her own pop-up shop. This is what she gave us the kit in. Isn't this bag just fabulous? And it wasn't even from the Peter Rabbit shop. It was just, I don't know where she found it, but it was just inspired to have on our table with our project all set out on. So tasteful and thoughtful, just all fabulous. So in Sarah's shop, she had some lovely finishing fabrics. So I did buy Lady Dot Creates cucumber, squash, and berry crush, which I thought would be really nice for finishing some sort of autumn and winter things. She had these little bee wax tins, which, you know, her and Nikki pimped them up with lace and little buttons and things. So I thought I might try and have a go at that. She had some puntini pins. The carrots sold out straight away. Everyone was in the carrot mode, but I think, yeah, this is really cute because it's got strawberry on, so that's great. She had lots of gorgeous linens there. So I did manage to get a piece of Tabby Cat Ashley down, which I've always wanted. And she's now stocking Tabby Cat linens at the Stitchery Sisters. So please do go and sign up to her newsletter so that you know when the new drops of Tabby Cat linen have arrived, because it's gorgeous. So yeah, less bonkers than creme brulee, but still really beautifully mottled pink on cream. Gorgeous linen. So I got a fat quarter of that. I got a couple of charts. I got her little mascot charts, the mice mascots, which is so cute, with a little finishing pack of the things that she had in her shop, because how could I leave those there? Look at the shoe. I just thought that was so sweet. So I got that. And then one red chart, which she had on display, the Golden Child 1890. It's a German sampler. And I think it's got the translation to do it in English as well. So it is the Golden Child, because Britta can speak German and she translated for us. So that's a reproduction by the Stitchery Sisters from the Heirloom collection, and that's available now in Sarah's Stitchery Sisters shop. So what fun. So we got that, and then two little things that she made up, two little pin cushions, and they've been grunged up and made into little, lacy pin cushions. Aren't they just gorgeous? So I can't wait to have those out. One on my desk, one in my craft room. So more amazing pop-up shop stuff that we had with Sarah. So that was that project. Then we had a day up in Hilltop, which is Beatrix Potter's house. I've done an amazing couple of pictures at the end. Well, I shouldn't say that because I took them, but you know what I mean. It was gorgeous there. I tried to take pictures and put them in so you can get a feel for it. Everything up there is beautiful, and it's all part of the National Trust, because she left, I think, 9 farms to the National Trust, Beatrix Potter. You know, she was an amazing woman. And so when we were there, we also went to the World of Beatrix Potter. We had afternoon tea in the cafe in Windermere, and we went to the little museum. It's like a sort of mini Disney World for Peter, and the most beautiful shop. I've got a few things upstairs in my craft room. I've got this gorgeous bag to carry all my stash home. Isn't it cute? And a little tin of fudge I got for Phil, so I can keep some little maybe buyer's tape makers, things like that. You know, you need a little tin with the blackberries on the side. It's also wonderful. So that was the day off. And then we got back that night. I think we did the quiz that night. We had a little quiz, and there were amazing prizes for the girls that won. Valerie won. And then there was something else. We played Mahjong another night. We had a lesson in how to play American Mahjong, which apparently has taken like the States by storm. Everyone plays it. I'd never heard of it. So that was fun. And then we went back in then for day 5 was Nikki's second kit. And so, this is a little map we were given. So we knew our way round Beatrix's, this is Windermere and where all her little things are. So fun. And so that was that. And then we went in for our second kit then with Nikki, and this one was called the Tabby Cat Bookshop, and I've got a photo of the finish of Nikki holding how she finished it up on her display. So these were the threads. So a full kit, basically, with loads of different colours. And a little advice on how you learn to paint on linen. So Nikki's got a few little floss tubes where she's, not floss tubes, things on YouTube over the years, like on World Embroidery Day, where she's given us little tips on how to use your watercolours to paint the linen. Now, I must admit, normally I paint first, but Nikki always paints last. So I thought, well, you know, I'll try it the Nikki way. So I did start. This is the Tabby Cat Bookshop. And this is inspired by Nikki's little local bookshop in one of her villages. And so it's going to be so pretty because this is going to be covered in pink flowers. It reminds me very much of Stitchery Lane and the year. And do you know, I've never shared that with you. It was the first full year subscription. Was it 2021? That I did. Every month you had a different place along the way of Stitchery Lane, mainly shops. And but it was a huge amount of stitching. I could hardly keep up with it. And that was before I did Flosstube. So I could spend, 2 weeks a month doing just embroidery and no cross stitch. Those days are long over, guys. So that was the Beatrix Potter. Then we had our farewell dinner. Right, now I need to show you what we got. So every night when you went back to your room, there was a little door hanging bag, that we would put out at breakfast. And then when we came back, you'd have a little gift. So one day we had this, now what's she called? The Paint Room, I think this is by the lady that covers books with this beautiful fabric. I think she's called the Painted Room. And so you had your little postcard. Looking forward to a day out tomorrow, love, Nikki. And that would be in the little bag with your books. So look at that notebook, so precious. And in the back, I've kept one of the agendas that we had, the itinerary. So that's a gorgeous gift. Everything was gorgeous. One day we had this beautiful mug, which we always have in our advent calendars and in our Christmas Eve boxes. I can't remember the brand of it, but if you need to know, let me know and I can let you know. And I've got a sweet stuck in the bottom, but it says the Stitchery, the Lakes, England. And on the back, look, a little saying. So this is, now run along and don't get into mischief. So obviously the last thing Mrs. Bunny said before Peter got caught in Mr. McGregor's garden. So that was beautiful. Then another night, we went back to our rooms and we had this cute little wee willy winky, the same pottery with a candle inside. And I'm not sure if Nikki and Caroline didn't actually make the candle to go in it. I'm not sure, but I know that they were making lots of the things. This is just stunning, isn't it? So that's precious. Something fell over, but I'm not sure what. What else? We had one night, we had this cartonnage box that Caroline made out of gorgeous Acufactum. You'll recognise it if you were in the Fat Quarter of the Month Club, the Acufactum Club, and it's lined with the beautiful polka dot. So I've got another perfect box for keeping applique things in. And Glynis, Nikki's mum, made the little matching stitchery, like a stitch tray, or you can use it flat as a little stitch mat. She's hand sewn the poppers on for us. Aren't these brilliant for taking on retreats? So you can either use it as a flat mat or turn it into a stitchy tray and it all matches. That was a gift one night, all wrapped up like that. Honestly, it was too much. And then on the last night, we came down as a surprise. We had pre-dinner drinks. We walked in and Caroline had set the table up with fresh tulips and all candlelit, and we all squealed, honestly. And on our tables, we had another label with our names of where we were sitting with a beautiful old ribbon. A little dried flower display that Caroline does so beautifully. So this was all kind of like this on the table. And then this little parcel. And inside was this handmade gift that Nikki and Caroline had worked on. And I've kept it in the package, I haven't even opened it. But we could make this into a necklace, or we could turn this into what Nikki did, which was, it's so much work to make these, but they're all personalised and with beautiful lace and papers on the back and soldered and beaded. And so we can hang this on a project bag, on our one that Glynis made. We can make it into a scissor fob, which is what Nikki intended for this to be. But, you know, if you had time, you could make this into a necklace and it would be fabulous. And this is very much inspired by Terry Brush, who is the jewellery artist that we're going on the retreat with on Tuesday. So we're going to Puglia. Nikki Franklin is also teaching on that retreat. And I think we're going to be doing a little embroidered piece in some sort of metalwork, which is what Terry does. And Terry Brush is American, but she does a lot of retreats here in the UK, in the Cotswolds, and also in and around Europe. So I was so lucky to get a place on the Puglia retreat. So we go on Tuesday for the week. I think the sun's going to shine. I think it's going to be more embroidery and soldering, and I've had to buy a toolkit. So it's so exciting. I'm going to go to Odeon to stay with Britta the night before, and I think Ian's going to run us to the airport, and we're coming back into Heathrow. And so me and Britta get a night in Brindisi, and then we're going to go on to Bari, the airport, and we're staying in a place in Puglia. Anyway, so these are some of the gorgeous little postcards we've had every night when we got to our room with our gifts. Everything was just perfect. And one other thing I need to share with you, when we got there, because before I come on to my finished now with my haul, I'll just wind up by telling you that on the first day, Nikki had warned everybody that cross stitchers tend to take table gifts. So that spurred me on to make floss drops for everyone. So that's what I took for my table gifts. I made these little cottontail floss drops. And I bought some charms. I did some carrots, some shovels, some ladybirds, you know, just a few like garden themed things. And it was great because when Sarah gave us the cross stitch with all the week's threads, people could put them on their floss drops then and have a little like organizer. And I did have a few spare. So before I forget, if anybody would like my 3 spare little, well, what I'll do, I'll draw number 1 3 times. So you can have a chance of winning one of these. There's one with a little trowel, a cottontail thread fob thing. So that'll be number 1, okay? In the comments, tell me what is your focus piece. Do you have a focus piece? And if you do, what it is. And so I took them, I bought this little bag before I went, a little tapestry bag filled with the thread drops. And so I took those and gave those, and of course we had some stunning table gifts. So now Sharon, who I met in Kentucky, she's from the US, she got us this gorgeous little gift bag of so many things. Half the pressure, twice the speed, a little pencil with a rubber. Sharon Mattia from Atlanta, Georgia, with these little cotton reels and her name on there. How sweet. We've got all these cute little sort of Beatrix Potter inspired teas and a thimble and a gorgeous waxing tin with Jemima Puddle Duck on. Can you believe how kind this is? A little tin, and inside is a waxer. Look at this. A daisy flower waxer in the tin. I mean, honestly, people are just so thoughtful and kind. I don't want to take that out of the tissue, but I will definitely be using my little Jemima tin. So sweet. Some gorgeous Aveda hand cream. And she's a brilliant knitter. Every day she'd come down in a new jumper that she'd knitted herself, and I would check how she managed it. And she made us these crocheted like a body wash thing that you can put your soap on. How fabulous. And of course in the UK we don't have these in our hotels, and I know the American girls are like, don't you get a flannel when you check in your hotel? We don't always routinely do that. It's something you just have at home but not in hotels. So that was fabulous. Thank you so much, Sharon. We had other beautiful things. I think Charmaine gave us this Peter Rabbit little egg because I saw them and Charmaine was from Australia. Can you believe, out of the 20 there was a lady from Canada? So Diane from Canada gave us some of the sweets, which I've managed to stick in the bottom of my cup. A lovely girl called Carrie, who was originally coming on this retreat in way back in 2019 or whenever COVID hit, made us this like beautiful junk journal, all inspired by the actual area. So the little maps. This is from the Diary of an Edwardian Lady, that I've got the book, you know, so I recognise that. And the maps are from the local region and the stories are from the Lake District. I mean, so kind and thoughtful, and little bits of stories that are all relevant to this region in the lakes, and the little maps. Just how kind and thoughtful are people to do things like this, all in a gorgeous little keepsake book. And it had some spare pages at the front, so you can make notes of the friends and what they bought you. You know, and I should do that. I track everything in Excel, you know that, guys. But somebody, I don't know who, was this Leanne? We had a divorce lawyer from Australia with us. Such a talented lady, a brilliant quilter, travels all over the world, goes to Liberty, comes to Bath on retreats with quilting, and loves Nikki's things. And she's coming back next year. I'm pretty sure Leanne got us these. But if you didn't, I'm sorry if I've messed that up. But these little things that she'd made into like a notebook. Isn't that precious? On a little floss ring. we had this beautiful thing from Deb. Now, Deb is from England, and I've met her before at Christmas in July with the Stitchery last year. She didn't put her Flosstube, her Instagram handle on, so I'm so sorry, Deb, but she made this specially for the retreat. It's like on an old lace bobbin pin. Isn't it lovely? So that's going in my stitchy box. I had this from Britta, a little, we love to do these little glass vials of like a pick and mix bead and sweetie mix and some Peter Rabbit stickers. I had some special buttons from, oh, do you know, I've forgotten who gave me this. Was it Beth? I think it might have been, with this on a cigarette card. And I don't think it was. The one from Beth had shells in that she'd picked on Florida Beach. This was from Robbie. This is the one that's got the shells. So these shells, literally, her and Beth picked up from one of the beaches in Florida. Isn't that cute? So you know, if you finish that in a project, you know that Robbie had sent that for us. We had a little bag here with, oh yes, so this was from Valerie. So Valerie, I've met before. We've spent some lovely days together. She's such a clever sewing lady, and she makes fabulous. She does a lot of slow stitching. So this is what she sent us: 4 charms, a rabbit and a lamb for the Lake District, and a rabbit and a carrot. So cute, 4 charms. And then she said, and a birdhouse for your soul. And there's a little birdhouse charm on there with some old bits of fabric. So thank you, Valerie. It was so lovely to spend time with you. And then the last thing I've got in here was, oh yes, some tea bags and biscuits. And this was from Anne. And Anne was so lovely, and she sent us popcorn tea and a little piece of chocolate, which I did eat when I was at the retreat. Then one other thing was, I couldn't believe this, Barry Hamby from Stitch Folk, who you know was so looking forward to coming over. She made everybody, all 20 of us, I think there were like 18 attendees and then 2 staff, as it were, and she made us all a Stitch Folk bag. And I chose this green one with the beautiful pink zip and the green Acufactum fabric with the girls with sewing, like the fairies. I mean, can you believe Barry's that talented? She just knocked out 20 of those, and they're such a gorgeous size. So thank you, Barry. I think that's everything. Because of course this was Nikki's gift to us on the last night. Her and Carolyn gave us that. So that was all the gifts, that was all the shopping and all the projects that we had on the retreat. Can't recommend it enough. When Barry came over, she did kindly offer to do me a little bit of shopping before she came. So I did order a few things from her. And so when I got up to the lakes, I had all this waiting for me when I met Barry. So the first thing, I think actually she gifted me these pins, and they look like they might be from recycled relatives, my friend Rebecca Brigham, but I'm not sure. Barry, I don't know where you got these pins, but they are beautiful. And I think I might leave them in that darling little glass cloche. So that was something I mustn't knock over. Then I did ask her if she wouldn't mind getting me these from the Fat Quarter shop, because it was literally the day before. These are the fabulous Independence by Riley Blake, celebrating the 250th. This is the fabric line that they did with the, and they got the quilting, the clippies. You know what they're called, the quilt clips, you know, that are so useful for if you stitch in hand as well with your cross stitch. I roll and clip. So I got one for Britta, and I think Barry got one as well. So that was a little bit of shopping that I got there. Then I was a little bit obsessed with these, and Barry put them in this gorgeous little gift bag she made. So that's precious. I'm going to be keeping ribbons and trims in that. I ordered these and Barry picked them up. Now, am I going to remember? It's excuse the crinkling. It's by Full Moon Wares. It's American, okay? So you can't get these shipped relatively well to the UK. It's just not cost effective, and they're dear enough to start with. Full Moon Wares, she does this spun cotton crafting thing. I wanted to do the glittery candy sticks for Christmas decor. I mean, whether I'll be able to do them, I don't know. And then if you haven't been on her YouTube and seen these gorgeous wool spun, it's like cotton wool spun hearts with the little labels and all this on. Oh, I'd love to do those. I think they make fabulous badges and just one-off pieces. So I did order 2 kits via Barry. She brought those to me, so that's brilliant. Thanks for doing that, Barry. And then I did order a load of things from Brenda Gervais' online shop, which is called Country Stitches Online, that we can never, it's either closed or we can't get things shipped to the UK. So I've ordered charts that I didn't have. I pretty much got most of Brenda's, but these are the ones I didn't have. So I'll just whiz through these quickly. So the samplings, because they come with the fabric, and I've got the red ones, but I didn't have the blue ones, and I do love them. Then a couple of the word plays that I was missing. This one is September. The little red house sampler, which I just saw online. I'd never seen it before, fell in love with that and really wanted it. Easter Parade. Oh, come on, that is cute. I've still got 1,000 other bunny things to do, but I just wanted that one. This is the August wordplay. I think I got a full set now. So I'll be able to get on with those because I think they're one of the most gorgeous little things. Every time I finish them, I realise how much I love them. October. Oh, the Valentine hoopla was so fabulous. I needed to do the 4th of July one. And you know you can get the Tilda and Liberty covered little 3-inch hoops to go around there that I can tell you another time what the lady's called. This one I didn't have. Hilda's Alphabet Brew, because I've got the other 2, the Christmas and House of Blues and Browns. This is another cute little one I didn't have. Christmas one. This is an Easter one I didn't have. So sweet and looks like a quick thing to do. And this one. Oh, I'm pretty sure. Oh, my friend in Wales. Oh, I know she stitched this. I'll remember next time. So sorry. The cat. What is it? The Cat and the Moon. Yeah. And then button. Now I know, was it Linny on the Sable Stitches stitched this, and it's solid stitching. It took a long time, but all of this is completely stitched. But it's just so cute. I think it would look amazing in your travel stitchy case. So I did, that was naughty, I know, but Barry did offer, she said, I've got a big empty case, and if you want me to bring, I mean, what could we say? So me and Britta kind of put our order in and we went mad. And then Barry so kindly gifted us this. Well, she gifted me this because I think she had a spare one. I mean, what a chart. It's just nice to know I've got that in my stash. She gifted me one of these. I've got one of these already in my travel stitchy case. But you can never have too many Mildreds pulling apart. And then she gifted me this. So this is why, guys, I really want to know, do you have a focus project? Is it your red sampler with your 1 thread a day? Or have you got something else? Now, I have got this panel on another one of my project bags. I love that because it reminds me of eating in the ivy when you're surrounded by flowers everywhere you look and you get amazing photographs with your kids. But what a bag. So I can't wait to think about a focus project. And so that was my gift and my haul. And one other piece of haul I did buy. Now this is from Pauline. I haven't got, I have. Pauline is PGC soap, I want to say. Is that right? No, it's something soft furnishings. Oh man, she hasn't written it down for me in her thing. She sent me the most gorgeous card and I can't remember what her shop's called now. It's PG Soft Furnishing, I feel. And she made these stunning portfolios and project bags. Now this is really a gorgeous finish. She does soft finishes. You can sort of tell this is heavy and beautifully made. And look at Benjamin Bunny with his tam o' shanter and Peter. Oh, I just love it. And it honestly, it's hugely professional. I'm so sorry, Pauline, I've messed up. And I don't think, oh, I did put inside, I took this to the lakes. No rabbits allowed, but I didn't get 2 minutes to start it. I'm sorry that you didn't put your tag inside for me. But she did send me a lovely card. The project bags, I wish I'd got one as well, because a lot of the girls on the retreat actually had a bag as well, and they're beautiful. So if you get a chance, I'll try and remember next time, Pauline, what your soft furnishing Instagram handle is. I'm sorry about that. Okay, that's it. I think I've got through everything. I've lost my notes, they're totally buried. So that was haul. And now I'm going to, so there's one thing I need to talk to you about before I do, oh no, one other thing I did get on haul. Okay, now this darling little doll is from Doris and Doris, and it's Doris_N. Actually, I put it in the photograph, the name of the shop on Instagram. It's a lady called Nita, and these dolls are beautiful. They're papier-mâché and they're pinned, so their arms move up and down. I don't suggest you do that. Handmade by Doris and Doris. Look at the crochet trim around the bottom of her dress. Look at the print on the dress. Look at her mohair hat. I mean, I want to eat her. She's so cute. Beautifully made. I have followed Nita for years. She doesn't do commissions. You can't just, there's no shop. You just have to wait. And if one comes up on Instagram, you can message her. I've messaged her 10 times and they're always sold out. There was one this year called Sophie that I felt had my name on it because I've got a Sophie. And my dolls were Sophie when I was little. So I really wanted a Sophie. But anyway, she went and I missed her. And then finally, Nita had a small doll and it had my name written on it. She allowed me to name her, and I've named her Dora. I just think she looks like a Dora. She's the cutest thing. She's an inch or two smaller than the normal size. I don't know how big she is, but she's, look at her painted papier-mâché shoes. They're painted pink. She's got painted pink pants. She is darling. And now I've got my craft room. I was allowed to have one. I know how long these take to make, and I think they're good value for the hours that goes into this. And so she's going to be stitching with me upstairs. She's been up here the whole time this week, looking fabulous. Phil thinks I've lost my head, but I absolutely love her. So that was all my haul. And now I'm going to be doing the giveaways. But before I do that, I do need to chat to you. One thing came up. I had an email about a month ago from the Whitchurch Silk Mill. Do you remember I went about a year ago with Nancy and Millie from 5 Times Blessed and Britta, and we went to the Whitchurch Silk Mill and we saw the girls actually making the silk that was going to be used for the replica of George Washington's suit to be shown in the Morristown National Historic Park. I think it's in New York, I don't know, but it's going to be in a museum on show. That actual piece of silk is going to be put into a replica of George Washington's suit for the 250th USA birthday this summer. And we actually saw the silk being weaved, and I took photographs of it at the time. And there's going to be a talk by the guy, the tailor. He's called Philip De Paola, and he's the guy making the replica suit that George Washington wore all those years ago from 1789. That's when George wore the suit, 1789. He is going to be making the replica to celebrate the 250th years. He's the New York tailor, and he is speaking online on on behalf or with the Whitchurch Silk Mill on the 11th of June at 7 p.m. GMT. So it would be very late in the US, but I thought I would tell you because there are tickets available. I can't go because I'm at Meg's wedding, but that, I don't know what night it is, the 11th. Is it a Friday? It could be a Thursday night. There are tickets available online. I will put the link in case any of you, I think like Catherine, Stitching in Costume, or Susan Stanley, those type of girls that are fascinated with fabrics and how they're conserved, how they're made up and reproduced and replicated, would be potentially interested. I would have gone to the meeting. Well, they did offer me a ticket actually, you know, for nothing, but the tickets are only £15. I think it would be a really interesting talk. It's online on Teams. So I'll leave the link in my description underneath my Flosstube today, in case any of you want to go on and click on the link. And the Whitchurch team would be hugely grateful for anybody that bought a ticket to support them, because they've been going since 1830 and they rely heavily on investment, you know, and people visiting the museum there to keep it running. And it is such a national treasure. And, you know, they do all the Jane Austen silk reproductions and everything there. So if you're interested, click on the link and see where you're going. And now I'm going to do the giveaway. So last time, do you remember I had 6 things? I've drawn the winners. Get rid of that a minute. So I drew the winners. Now, last time, Nicola Parkman had very, very kindly donated the Queen of the May, Anne Watson. And so this chart was won by Sean in AZ. So number 1 was won by Sean, SHAWN, in AZ. I don't know if that's, you know, Oz or Arizona. I'm not sure. But please get in touch with me and I'll ship that to you. Number 2, which was these gorgeous cross-stitch charts, so kindly donated by the Fat Quarter Shop, the zinnias and the Americana Trio by Kim Deal. These are just cute because she always goes around the outside with patchwork. This was won by Del Nora Stitches, 6612. The 2 quilt charts by Kim Deal. This one was pressed flowers. And this one was biscuits, all available right now at Fat Quarter Shop. This was won by Joe Kayis, Kays. Number 3, which was the first of the Quilting Bee Cross-Stitch Club sewing machines by Laurie Holt. The reason I got confused and thought this was the second is because everyone's been doing different colours. So Carrie Red Velvet Quilts and Kimberly Fat Quarter Shop, I think they changed the colours from this and somebody's done it in pink. But this was the first in Laurie's series of these gorgeous, I kind of wish I kept this for myself. But this was number 4 and it was won by Jennifer Cape, 5453. Jennifer Cape. So drop me an email, Jennifer. Number 5 was again by Laurie, the Scrappy Americana flag cross stitch. This is a stitch along right now with Fat Quarter Shop. And this is based exactly on the quilt kit that I've got from Laurie for the Americana quilts. I've got the, it's massive. And so this is a replica of the quilt blocks in cross stitch. Again, I should have kept it, but I've given it away. And number 5 is won by Karen, T4F7W, Karen. So please drop me an email, Karen. And then number 6 was so kindly gifted to me. Do you remember this really beautiful box? So this is by Suzanne and Joanne from Cotton and Twine. They send me a box every month at the moment. And this was for this gorgeous new designer that they had with the bright, bright colours, beautiful colours, and all these stunning gifts inside that I shared. And I've got the photographers in at the end of my Flosstube last time. I'll just quickly show you the bright colours on the blue, because what a fun stitch. So kind of them to keep sharing this with me in a beautiful East of India gift bag. So you get everything there and a needle. So I'll be sending that to winner number 6, and that was Marilyn VW. Marilyn VW. So thank you so much to the girls at the Cotton and Twine Historical Sampler Company, and this time we've got some more giveaways. So when I got back from the retreat, I had 2 boxes. The first from the Fat Quarter Shop with these gorgeous quilty clippies, 6 designs of 6 pegs each, and each of them holds up to 30 pieces of fabric. I mean, I've got the numbers and the letters, and now I've got these cute ones to go as well. They're just so useful, and they're constantly out of stock because look at them. They're just amazing. So thank you so much to the Fat Quarter Shop. They also then sent me these. Now, they showed this on a recent Flosstube that they did. Cassidy Grace, Laurie Holt's daughter, has started, as you will know, doing embroidery designs. And she picks the most gorgeous colour. So let me tell you the fabrics, because this is useful for anybody that's embroidering. So the cloth that she uses is confetti cottons, and then they all come in different colours. So this one is Marsala. They're by Riley Blake Fabrics. This is Marsala confetti cotton. This is Latte confetti cotton. And this is Storm. I love that. Look how the cream fabrics. I think she uses 3 threads. So it's a pretty good shine on that for 3 threads, because you know Nikki would make us do a single thread for satin stitch, sometimes a double, but I've got a feeling that the thread is, it says on the back 3 strands of DMC. Maybe she's separating them, but these are such gorgeous designs, and what a brilliant hoop finish. Kimberly actually had them on one of her recent floss tubes, and they're very, very pretty. Anyway, I'm going to be giving away this. So the floss drops earlier was number 1. I'm going to keep the blue one and give these 2 away. So if you'd like to try embroidery, then please use the number 2 for that. These are available right now at Fat Quarter Shop. Yeah, I'm getting in a bit of a muddle. That's right. Number 3 is the fabulous chart. So this is number 9 out of the 12 houses. Remember, I've done the quilt behind me with all the houses. So this is the hometown neighborhood. This is the tulip house with that gorgeous text on it. And Laurie's beautiful colours. So this is stitched on 25 count Lugana, but you could do it really small, couldn't you, on 40 count? Tulip house. So if you want to win this, please use the word number 5. Please don't ever say giveaway in the comments, guys. I'm getting more and more because we'll get, you know, trolls and all sorts of things coming over. But if you just tell me, do you have a focus project, and use the number 5 if you want to win that chart, then that's number 3. I'm sorry, that was 3, wasn't it? And then number 4 was for the Potted Herbs Quilt chart, which is by Kim Deal, and she used the Harvest Time collection by Kim Deal for Henry Glass Fabrics. I love her quilts. So this will be number 4. Number 4. Tell me what your focus project is. And she also sent me this. So this is available right now at Fat Quarter Shop. I've seen this. I love it. I'm going to keep this because I think it's something I would love to stitch with those old Civil War fabrics, all the grungy greens and browns. I love that so much. So I'm going to keep that for myself. And then the other box I have. So thank you, Fat Quarter Shop. They're so kind to me. And then another box I had from Historical Sampler Company. It comes beautifully wrapped in this wax paper. So this is their new, it's so fun. This is designed by the Cotton and Twine group. So the girls themselves, they've done their own design this month, and it's really, really cute. Did they give it a name? They would have. Seaside themed design featuring 2 of the cutest seagulls just chilling out in the sunshine. So it has been designed in-house by Historical Sampler Company, stitched on a blue Zweigart with the beautiful kind of nautical threads. Look at this. and they send me the 32 count linen. Now, if you use first 15 and you're placing your first order, you can have 15% off. They do that every month. I always forget to say. But there are 3 amazing options. This full gift box, which I'll show you now, which comes with the gift bag with all the materials to start it. It comes with a QR code. You can do the PDF chart, the finishing instructions, the paper chart in full A4 size in colour. It also comes this time with the frame, which I will keep because postage now has gone mad. It's so expensive for me to do these giveaways. And I must be spending over 50 quid a month on posting. So I'm not going to, this is quite heavy, but you could get the gist if you get the gift box, how wonderful this would be. And the chocolate sardines, look at this. What fun. You can get these at Christmas time in John Lewis to put in kids' stockings. Oh, I love that. You always get a tea bag. This time we got English breakfast tea, organic. And this cute decoration. Who's this by? This is by Shoeless Joe. I mean, look, a sardine decoration. It's also beautifully coordinated and put together. So that's the gift box. You can also just get the kit, or you can, for next to nothing, just get the PDF if you just want to stitch that. But what a huge amount of fun. I mean, look. So red, white and blue, a winner in this glorious weather. So if you want a chance to win that, please use the number 5. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's all done. And on that cheery note, I can say to you, I've gone over way too long, but I hope you have a fabulous few stitchy weeks. I'm off to Puglia on Tuesday for a retreat with Terry Brush and Nikki Franklin, and then I come back. I've got 2 days at home to stitch on Lottie, and then I'm going off to Harriet's hen do in London. So if you see me alive and in one piece out the other side of this in June, then that'll be a miracle. I feel like I'm all over the place, but it's all good stuff. It's all super exciting. We're in the middle of our kind of wedding planning era, which is so much fun. I hope you're well. I hope you're getting loads of time to stitch all the things. Until I see you in June, take care of yourselves and happy stitching. Bye.